Hi, welcome to another episode of Sketchman Draws. This is Boris. So today I'm going to show you how to simplify a subject before drawing. So we'll be doing some drawing, but I'll be mainly showing you what goes on in my head. So, and which is why I'm using a digital tool, because it's easier to demonstrate that. So I'm using Clip Studio Paint, so as usual, and I'm going to zoom in here. So I've just chosen diverse, at least according to me, I think it covers a lot of the different subjects that one can draw, starting with an object, right? So I have an object, cartoon characters, an actual human being, an athlete, and animal, right? So of course there are so many other things, but I think these are the main things that usually people draw, or want to draw. So this is the way I break down the drawings, right? So I'll just reduce the opacity a little bit of the image so that the lines appear more clear. So if you take this, like, this object here, so which is, like, can you say kettle? Is this a kettle? I don't even know. Like, okay, so this is where you can put the tea, a teapot, right? So when I'm looking at an object, so here it's at an angle. I'm looking for the big shapes. Like, what are the things that I can recognize? So clearly here there are a lot of circular shapes. So first, like, because this is a 3D object, you have to be able to visualize three-dimensional basic shapes. So for example here, if I remove this layer here and then just draw again over it quickly, you can clearly see there's like a spheric shape here. I mean, it's not an exact ball like a sphere, but it has like that spheric shape. And then the next shape that I see is this one, right? Like, and so on. So I'll go from like big shapes to medium and then small, and I'll just try to block them first, and then you might have also seen this yellow line here. So those yellow lines, so I just do them in a different color. So those are lines that I draw just to see the relationship of the object to the ground or the surface that it's on. So in this case, of course, like it's standing straight, right? And so what are these lines for? So these lines, which are called reference lines, these lines are for just telling my brain that this is what I'm trying to draw. Like, it's like, for example, if you look at the saucer here, that if you look at the yellow line, it's not a straight line. It's like it's curved like this. So this is just a way for my brain to tell my brain that, listen, I'm trying to draw something, that way. So my philosophy is that drawing is magic, is illusion. Actually, you're creating an illusion. So you have to trick yourself so that you can trick others into believing that it's a good drawing. So the next one is Yogi Bear, and Boo Boo from the cartoon characters. So I grew up watching Hanna-Barbera characters. Actually, I did a series of videos on Hanna-Barbera characters. Go check them out. And when it comes to like humanoid characters or animals, I usually start with the head, because it gives me an idea of the proportion that the rest of the body will be. And in my opinion, if you capture the proportion of the head and the body correctly, the rest should fall in place pretty much correctly. Okay, so, and you don't need to use ruler, just like visual measurement will be enough. Like so. And I always use the spheric shape again to represent the cranial mass. Even though it's a 2D character, I like to imagine that he exists in a 3D space, because that just makes my that just makes drawing for me interesting. And here the yellow line is, so he's not standing straight, or he's not laying down on the ground. He's like leaning against possibly a tree, like this. So and Boo Boo is doing the same thing. He's leaning against Yogi Bear. And so it creates this really beautiful curve that you need to keep in mind. So once you break down into these simple shapes, and you have to figure out the relationship with this, like how are they placed, how are they aligned. So the next one is, of course, a bit more complicated because we're talking about an actual human being. Michael Jordan here, an athlete, a human being. So here, same thing for the cranial mass. I represent like that one. So it will be like a 3D. So again, this is when the visualization comes in, right? Again, because visualizing, understanding it will help you draw better. So here, I'm imagining like a ball just floating there, right? And on which I could like draw lines and hang the eyes and the nose and so on. But we're not talking about the head, but I'm just trying to explain to you how to simplify and how to think through when you're looking at a reference. And when it comes to the yellow line, this is something that I've previously covered, which is like the skeleton simplified as a stick figure. Yeah, so let's look at the animal, and it's the same. I've just chosen to draw everything in yellow because the animal is already in a reddish color. So, and another thing that you can do is, whether it's in drawing an object or something, and if you're not sure about the gesture, the curve that you need to draw, you need to do for your drawing. Like for example, if you look at the bird, right, you can ghost draw. Ghost draw meaning like you hover over the drawing without touching it. Okay, so if you have it printed, that's great. You can draw over it, but like you see the way the so for example, let me take the. You see the way this goes like this, so like this, right? So, okay, that will be important because that like the bird is looking this way, so figuring out things like that before you actually draw is very important. So now, I've divided this video so like into like 3 different subjects. So first we'll start with an object, okay? So, and just to make things more interesting, I've chosen like a different object than the ones that are displayed here. So let's start with this shoe, right? Like again, it's, let me put that there to self-promotion. So again, in the I was thinking about doing a video on how it feels to draw, because I did a workshop on and explained people how it feels to draw. For me, it feels like sculpting. It feels like it's a visceral experience for me. So it feels like I'm touching the object that I'm trying to draw, or sculpting the object that I'm trying to draw. So here, for example, if I take the shoe here, right, and I'm taking the red color, so, and if I try to cut this, like if I were to do a dissection, it will be well, not exactly symmetrical, but it's sort of symmetrical, because like the shoe is sort of structured like that. So if I put a line here and I hover my pen over the actual object, it will not be flat, right? Of course, it will follow the curve of the surface. So that's very important. So the next one that I will do is to block it is, look at this one here, and then, right, and these are really quick things that my brain does that I'm trying to show it in a visual way to you. So let me grab the pencil and let's see how we can do that. So let's say this is your canvas, right? Like, so the surface that you're trying to draw on, and so I just drop it there, and then, okay, I'm ghosting. Okay, I see I'll start the line from here, and again, this is the stage where you can actually allow yourself to make mistakes. Like, don't worry about being too precise, because you're drawing with a pencil, and you can always erase. And I actually I like that process of like, and then I connect this. Okay, so now it's great because now it's taking shape. Like I already see the shoe. It's not the actual outline, but I see the structure, which is very important. And actually the structure, for me, understanding the structure is very important. So for example, I go back like this and I connect there, and it's taking shape. So this is not the actual shoe. So there's a line here, and then, just not to confuse myself, I am drawing the hole from here to here, right? And you see there, I mean, we're not going to draw we're just, I mean, this is just how to block the different shapes, okay? So that line, so this is the line that we drew, right? But the shoe doesn't stop there. So there's a little bit here, the bit about the other side that we see. Now and then, like you see the shoe is there. The rest of the things that I need to do is like sort of refine and do the details. But this is not the purpose of the video today. But this is just to show you how to simplify the drawing, and we simplified it. And actually, that's the phase you can allow yourself to make mistakes because it's easy to correct. But that's also, I would say, the bit of the heavy lifting is done there, because once the structure is like clear and you are happy with it, you can go ahead with the details. And another trick that I would say is, I would like, so of course here I'm using a digital tool and I just put the image right next to it. But if I'm looking at the subject there and then I'm drawing here, I would quickly like glance, like I'll do like tuck tuck, like quickly look from here to the object, and I'll see if there is some sort of movement, meaning like there is the form or the structure that I put in, is it so different? If it's too different, there'll be a really big movement. Like for example, if the shoe is like this and you've drawn it like this, you'll see this kind of movement, and you'll say, oh, okay, I need to erase and then bring my, so those kind of things allow you to make corrections. But so yeah, that's, and you can, well, sometimes I I get carried away and I have to like draw details, but yeah, you sort of get the idea. And is it like, you can, like, if I glance quickly, like for example, I see that this line is too high, so I'm just trying to correct that, and so on. So that's the object, right? So now let's get into like how we break down, or how can we draw an animal, right? So we have a cat here, and I'm going to go quicker because I kind of explained, I've done the bulk of the explanation in the beginning, so I kind of just want to draw here. So again, that cranial mass there on top. So yeah, and the muzzle, like I see it like a cylinder. And again, this is not the first time or the last time you'll see cylinder, but that's a really like a cylinder is something that I think you need to practice a lot, right? And here, so to make sure that I'm like, so for example, you can say, okay, this is the size of the head, and then you can say, oh, okay, so I see like there's if I drop two heads, I arrive to the area where he's bending the leg, right here. A little bit lower. And again, here there's a cylinder here, just to show you, like, if I have to break it down into like simple shapes. And again, it's not an exact cylinder, right? I mean, you get the point. It's just like, it's the closest thing that we could do to simplify the drawing for ourselves, or simplify the reference for ourselves. Okay. And here we have a cylinder or two. And if you think about it, this is also like a sort of a big cylinder, but like a misshapen, deformed cylinder, right? And right there, like, yeah, I've by doing just the head and going down here to sort of give myself a landmark, and once those things are, and then, so it's like you remember when I said like you have to ghost the hand and so on. I'm doing that with my eye actually. So that's why it's easier for me to draw. But I'm actually doing like the things that I explained to you. Those are the things that at least I think are going inside my head when I'm drawing something. Yeah. So there you go. Okay, so now let's do the last subject with this, which is a human. I just put the yellow line here, and I have another example. So for example, when we're talking about the center of gravity, the relationship of the subject to the ground. So for example, on the left hand side, okay, I'm not saying she's exactly straight, like, because her backbone is slightly, but without even thinking, like the general gesture of her body is like pretty straight, right? Like at 90-degree angle to the ground. But if you look at the subject on the right, he's trying to turn, so he's like leaning this way. I mean, yeah, to my right, to your left. No, sorry, yeah, to your right too. But anyway, he's leaning. So you need to keep that in mind when you're like breaking down into simple shapes, because those shapes, if you drew them suddenly like this, you will not capture the energy of the subject matter, right? Like so let me hide this image here. And I have done many videos on anatomy, so proportions and so on, so go check that out. What's going on here? Okay. Sorry for the delay. Okay. So I'll start with what's going on. I can't. Okay, let me delete this. Okay, finally. Okay, so I kind of like putting a ball there for a cranial mass. Okay, and already I can tell, like, I think if I quickly do the calculation like quickly eyeball it, I think we will not have the space to draw the whole body, so I'm going to like raise it up here. So just making sure that you see that on the screen, and like the little shape there for the chin. And so just to tell myself that this is how the shapes should align, I'm just drawing a straight line. The cylinder here actually, which is her neck, right? And then I draw circles here to represent the shoulders. Or more like ovals. So you can simplify them the way you want, but this is the way I simplify anatomy. And here, like, it's pretty much straight. Maybe there's a little bit slight, because her arm is swinging back, and yeah. So So I'll just block this here. And again, the skeleton that I do, the stick figure that I do to simplify skeleton, and then the arm is a cylinder, the forearm is another cylinder that follows that, so that that stick figure serves as an axis for the cylinder, and I'll talk about that in another video in detail. And again, these are workshops that I do for free 3 times a month, every Sunday. So if you want to join, check out the link in the description below. It will take you to the meetup group where you can, so if you become a member, it's free. You can see, you'll get notification whenever there's the next event. So here again, I just draw for the pelvic area, I just draw an underwear, and so here you have another cylinder. Yeah, like I said, I won't have time to, not time, but space to draw. So if I do the, yeah, just to show that these are different, all cylinders, but different, differently placed cylinders. And if you have any questions, please leave in the comment section below. I really love your comments. Thank you again for like being so nice in the comments. That's really nice. Yeah, just some shapes for the. Anyway, so this is how this is how my brain works. This is how I see a drawing. This is I think if this helps, please like, share, and subscribe. And like I said, leave your questions and comments in the comment section below. Other than that, yeah, you can find me in my website sketchmanboris.com, and you can read about other projects that I'm working on. But I would like to thank you very much and for watching the video, and I'll see you next time. This is Boris for Sketchman Draws, signing off.